right, everyone, welcome to another episode of Xbox Talks. This is your guys' podcast here for our Xbox Series X and Xbox One community. So just wanted to say thank you guys for joining. Um, so just a little housekeeping rules. If you guys want to come up and talk, we got a little hand raise button down below. Just go ahead and hit that. That'll notify us you do want to come up and talk about this subject we're speaking of, or if maybe you just want to talk about what kind of game you're playing. Come on, hit that button and join us on stage. If you are up here, go ahead and mute your mic while somebody else is speaking. Sometimes we hear the background noises. It's kind of hard for people to talk over that. Other than that, let's have a great show. Let's introduce the other hosts we have. We have Anthony Mokoworm.
Hey Kev, hope you
Hey.
can hear me.
Yeah,
Happy
you're
Sunday.
fine. We got Mikey J. Raymond.
Hello.
And we have Jay Foreman.
You know, the one thing I appreciate about Mikey is he's consistent. He always has the same intro for us, and then I just come in with a bunch of word babble, but there's my word babble. Back to you, Kevin.
Very nice word babble. Very, very nice word babble. So, let's talk about what we've been playing. I think some of us had some goals we set last week. Who wants to go up first?
I'll go. I didn't meet my goal. I said I was going to finish Hogwarts. I haven't even played it at all. I've just been
Tired.
I'm just sucked in with. I'm still playing Lego games. I can't get. Listen, I can't get away from them. I love them. I'm back in. I'm fully on board with Lego. It's taking up all my time. I'm trying to 1000G. The Force Awakens.
No shame, man. No shame. I just
So
feel the
chill,
vibe. Don't
so
force
chill.
yourself to play something you don't want to play when something else is pulling at you. That's
They're like challenging without being too challenging, so like you still feel like you've achieved. And I'm into the collecting. I love just collecting stuff.
Oh, can I didn't mean to interrupt you, but how far you played the Star Wars, the new one, right? The Skywalker saga, is that correct?
Yeah, so I'm sort of like progressing through that slowly, and I'm kind of dipping into other ones because, like I said, I got into this because of my little boy who's just about to be 6, and it's his intro to video games, and because he has no real long attention span, we jump between all different ones in the series. So we're doing the Force Awakens, the new Lego game, Star Wars game. Indiana Jones, Lego Batman. It's just going on and on. But they're brilliant. I love them.
It's great for him because the mechanics are similar, right? But you can get a different setting and kind of change it up a little bit. So yeah, I think that's really cool.
And he loves those franchises as well. So like he loves Star Wars anyway. So like, it sucked him in. And also the best thing is it introduces you. It's not a twin stick camera movement. So your left camera follows the character. So it was like an easy in for him that way. Like he's not thrown in, but from that he's playing some twin stick stuff now.
There you go.
So he's progressing, but it's, if you've got kids, that it's the way, it's the great starting point.
This is the way.
The Lego series, yeah, this is the way.
Sounds great, Mikey. What do you?
But no,
Hogwarts.
Go ahead. I'm just saying Hogwarts. That was my goal, Hogwarts, and I haven't touched it. I should have done, and I didn't.
No, let it linger. Just let it like fall into the graveyard of games of uncompleted past, and maybe in a few years you'll find it again. That's what I do. But don't listen to me, man. I give terrible advice.
Mikey, what have you been playing?
Well, I forgot about the zombie derby thing that I said I was gonna play until now. Once you said once you said we had some goals, I'm like, oh shoot. I was waiting for it for a while too, but it didn't release till like Friday.
Did you buy it?
I didn't. I forgot.
Oh,
because I couldn't buy it every time I kept looking because I had to wait till Friday, and then I just
that's totally fair.
I ended up pumping a lot of hours into a couple of games. I finished Sons of the Forest as it is right now. Completed the story. Built a massive wooden base. I absolutely love the building that game, and I hope it comes to Xbox at some point. And I also dumped a bunch of hours into Microsoft Flight Simulator again. And I just looked, and I have 2 days and 8 hours played somehow. You kind of just lose yourself in that game, even if you're just sitting there listening to music.
Can I ask you a question about Microsoft Flight Simulator?
Go ahead.
So I get that sort of like, the takeoff and the landing is sort of involved. What happens in between? Are you just sat staring at the screen for hours? Like what
It depends on
happens?
what you're doing.
I haven't played it at all, so I don't know. But
So I'm going for an achievement that you need the 20 original planes that the game launched with. You need to do 300-mile flights in all of them. So I'm about 8 planes in, and I've done all of them either with autopilot or you can have the AI fly. And I've done true realism. And there's another achievement to do a 300-mile flight with true realism, and I've tried doing it, and I always mess up something. It's very difficult. Even setting autopilot, you have to be there because the plane doesn't fly itself or land. So it really depends on how much attention you want to give it, because you can do the AI piloting, which is different because the AI will take off for you, will go to the destination, and it will land for you.
so what's the
But if
point? What's the point of I don't know, maybe I'm missing the point myself. But if it does everything for you, what's the point of playing the game? Like what enjoyment do you get from the game?
You can sight view. I will say I can't believe how demanding the game is on your CPU and your GPU. It's a gorgeous game. I was flying over the pyramids of Egypt. I went over Paris in a prop plane, just kind of messing around, and saw the Eiffel Tower. It's really neat what they have in the game. The first thing I loaded up was the Minneapolis airport, and I started flying north towards the Twin Cities, and then I flew a little more north to try to find my current home and location. I tried to find where I grew up. It's impressive what they have mapped out. Almost unimaginable. It's
Wow.
really cool. So again, it really depends on how much attention you want to give it. If you just turn on, AI pilot, gets kind of boring. You can just walk away, make food, watch a TV show, let the game earn yourself some achievements. And I have done that for a few flights because I just couldn't be bothered doing a 2.5-hour flight with a single prop plane.
I'm pretty sure I've had some real pilots
for
that have
the
done
achievement.
that.
But it's been a fun game and I've loved it. That's what I did apparently with a lot of my time. Also some Call of Duty, but that gets boring to say every week.
No, I mean, I mix in my Overwatch every week too. I think you were describing Flight Sim to me, and I called it a Zen game, and there's a lot of them out there, but to me, it reminds me of like when I get on Grand Theft Auto, and then I just end up not doing anything and driving around for like an hour and a half. Like Flight Sim is that same experience, but there's not the distraction of anything else to do. It is just flying around. The sightseeing is definitely amazing. Just the technology is really cool. Since release, they've added more detailed geographical packs, I guess would be a good way to put them, where they update the scenery and some of the stuff below you, where it's not just they try to add more detail to it, and it makes for a really good time. So I was really kind of surprised that you fell into Flight Sim, because I know that you're more of an objective focused gamer, and it does have those goals for you to chase down, but it's also very much just an experience game. It's not really about beating the game, or there's a lot of people that when it first came out, they debated, is this really a game? And I consider it a game. I mean, it's for fun and it's electronic entertainment. It's just not the typical mold that a lot of people put games into. So that's really cool, man. I'm glad that you've been having a good experience with that.
Yeah, I plan to wrap it up at some point. This one I do want to complete. I've said I've been kind of dying on the completionism, but this one I want to go for. It'll be special to me. Take my time with it, and it's something I can keep coming back to, because when I was a kid, I used to play this game called X-Plane, and the one thing that I wish this game had was that X-Plane had, which was a competing flight simulator. You could build your own aircraft. And I wish this game had that to a degree. I always built barrels that barely flew, but as a kid,
it's
I
a
just
tube
wish
with a
something like
jet
that was
engine on
here.
it, and
Yeah, pretty much.
Awesome. Kevin, I don't think you shared what you were up to this week.
Sorry, I was busy typing away.
Yeah, I know. I caught you right at the wrong time, didn't I?
No, it's okay. Sorry, I usually I post to the other Discords and stuff that I'm in for people to come in and join and listen to. So I was just kind of taking care of that on the back end. But yeah, nothing. I mean, just simple. Just Overwatch 2 and Halo. The new Halo season's really, really good. That cinematic is just beautiful, chef's kiss. And before any of you guys can do it, because I've been giving you guys the sad trombone, I did not play Romancylvania.
Oh, you know what? You and me both, Kevin, and my finger was on the buy button like probably 3 or 4 different times this week. I looked at it. I actually reached out to the developer. I was like, "Hey, you want to come over and do an AMA?" we kind of were interested in your game after we talked about it on our podcast, and they actually already had an AMA set up in games, which is
okay.
a pretty good sized subreddit. And I was like, "Well, you guys go do that then. That seems like a good time to share what you have to share." So I didn't make it to the game, and now it's on my wish list. So when it comes in on a sale, I'll probably pick it up, and we'll have an update like 2.5 months from now. So
Yeah, I
go ahead.
really wanted to get to it. I just I Overwatch and Halo just took a lot of my time this week. So
Yeah,
but yeah, that Halo season 3 cinematic, like I said, beautiful. It's very Destiny-esque. So if you guys love that Destiny style cinematics, that beginning is just absolutely beautiful. It
uh,
makes me really, really happy for the future of Halo. Mikey,
Question: none of you guys played Wolong yet?
No.
that's a negative.
Said you're going to.
Shame.
I
Oh,
beat
that's
you.
right. I did say I was going to. Oh man, double sad trombone.
I got
We all failed hard. It's okay.
So I went and
Yeah.
watched the Lu Bu fight, and I was just like, wow, I'm not ready for this right now, basically. So I think if you're a Souls fan and you're really good at the combat and those kind of games, like it's much easier to slip into. But for me, it's a major investment, because that is not a genre that I usually like dive super hard into, and it still looks amazing. It's still in that setting I love. I've actually been playing Romance of the Three Kingdoms back from the 16-bit era. I love to play some retro games sometimes, and I don't know if I'm going to get to it, man. I should at least try it, and I think you're right there. It's just the intimidation factor is really high for a noob gamer like me.
The post on the sub put me off. I'm not going to lie, Mikey. People were saying even the tutorial had like a 2-phase boss.
So
It was hard to beat.
just to defend it a little more, because I had this argument with someone on Facebook. They brought up the fact that the game's boss is too hard. It was in the Xbox Series X group. And I pointed out to him, like, well, first of all, Game Pass kind of lowers the completion rate of things, because what Game Pass offers gamers is a chance to try something and see it's not for them. So what I did was I looked at Steam achievements to compare people who purchased the title, and 84% of people on Steam had beaten the first boss. 70% of people on Steam had beaten the first major boss in Elden Ring. The Elden Ring first boss is harder than, by definition, based on the achievement list, than the Wolong boss. And I think Wolong's just kind of gotten a bad rap, because a lot of players have gone in. They have this defensive mindset for Wolong, and it doesn't work. Especially with the spirit gauge, you have to keep attacking the enemy. The first boss is a cakewalk once you figure it out. And I will personally coach any of you through the boss fight so that you can finally play co-op with me.
You know
That's
what I
all
would love
I
to
want.
do? I would love to do a live stream of Mikey kind of trying to drag one of us along to defeat the first boss with his coaching. That's amazing.
I will do it. I will dedicate myself, because none of
I
my
love it.
friends, my main Elden Ring partner called this game weeb, so he didn't pick it up because he just doesn't like. I don't get it. He doesn't like stuff. When we
I
played
just
Elden
don't
Ring,
get
he
it.
said, "You can't pick samurai, or I won't play with you." It's like, oh,
Oh
okay.
wow, I have
Yeah.
a few friends like that. Very particular
He's a
for some reason.
he's a weebist.
Mhm. Very against it for whatever reason. It's like, dude, chill. Just, it's a good game, but
Yeah. Awesome. Jay, did we get to what you were playing? Or I mean, I should say what you didn't play, since we all kind of missed the mark this week.
Yeah, no, I mean I also was on the Romancylvania with you, and I didn't get to that. So I've been pretty steady, kind of chipping away at Darkest Dungeon. I've been setting up a lot of stuff on the back end here for reasons that we're going to get into a little bit, relating to Reddit talk and our show here, Xbox Talks with the community, and we'll touch on that in a little bit, like I said. So I've been busy with some nonsense, basically.
All right. Well, I mean, you just want to rip the band-aid off now? We can just tell everybody, or
Sure, but right after this commercial. Hold on. No, I'm kidding. Go ahead.
Oh.
So,
we do have some bad news, unfortunately, guys. Good and bad. So, bad news, Reddit Talks is being sunsetted for Reddit. No. Yeah, it's pretty awful, pretty bad. It's something we absolutely love. It's something that we thought was a great feature for you guys. the community that really made really made it something special and unique just for the community. Unfortunately, Reddit does not feel that way, and they are sunsetting the talk, mostly too because I guess their audio provider is pulling the service, and I guess they don't want to invest in creating their own
Baloney.
audio service.
Kevin, that's a bunch of bull, and you know it.
Yep.
And it's
Yeah,
not just
I
Reddit
know.
talk that they're pulling down. They've also recently done away with RPan, which is a very popular live video streaming platform.
Predictions.
Along with Reddit talk, they let us know that they're getting rid of predictions, which is weird to me because I know that predictions it's already there, so they don't have to do anything to predictions. They could just leave that for communities that enjoyed it, but for some reason they're deciding to pull away these features. From a lot of the stuff we've been, sometimes we get to go to, they call them mod summits and that type of stuff, and we get some communication from admins and corporate level Reddit, and it really does seem to be that they're kind of changing the direction. They want to resimplify the client. I've heard some weird things that they're not happy with new Reddit and how new Reddit is implemented. We're seeing that 85% of our traffic is Reddit apps, and I think they're kind of try to retool things, but the unfortunate side effect of that is we're losing some features that we love, and especially Reddit talk, which is when we first tried Reddit talk, I'm sure you guys remember, it was just, hey, we got a new thing, do you want to try it? And we all hosted the first episode from our phones. I was up in my bedroom. I remember it, sweating bullets.
We did. It was in beta. It hadn't even launched. We got invited into the beta program.
Right, and it was amazing.
Actually, I think it was the alpha program, actually. Yeah, when Foreman and I, we were in the alpha. Like, I think we were one of the first talks that ever hosted.
We were, and if you go on Spotify way back in our archives, you can find those early episodes, and you can hear how much of a train wreck it was. And I'm not saying that we're not still a train wreck, but we're a train wreck that's on the rails most of the time, at least. So
I hated it. I hated the audio quality that I had to use my phone.
It was really bad.
So bad.
And it was like, it was terrible.
But you're right. It's a shame. It's one of the best features on Reddit in years, and it's a real shame.
But we're not going away.
We are.
Yeah, I was about to say, we do have some good news.
We've been very doom and gloom.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, we do have some good news with this. Like Mikey said, we aren't going away. Some of you know that we do also not simulcast, but we do upload video and audio to YouTube immediately after the show ends. And now that's going to be our primary streaming service. So we'll be doing live Reddit talks from YouTube coming shortly.
Yeah, and the thing about this is that this is nothing without the audience participation. We're just there's 82,000 Xbox podcasts out there, but we'd like to bring the community on this, and we think that's what makes it special. So we're gonna look for ways to still include you all, and that includes if you want to come up and guest host with us sometimes, send us a mod mail. Some of you are well known to us from your participation in the past. We'll just have you on for a whole episode. We don't care. We're gonna make a way for you to submit audio clips, MP3 files, if you want to contribute to the show that we can play afterwards, if you even want to do your own segment, that kind of stuff. We were going to look for creative ways to engage with all of you and to hopefully create some content that everybody finds interesting and continue to move forward with this. It's just, a little bit of a shakeup here. And it's not just us. There's some subreddits that had much larger talk programs, like Wall Street Bets has one every morning. Thousands and thousands of users join in on their talks, and they're talking about the latest stock tips. To a community like that, it's devastating. To us, it's an inconvenience. We do love to do this, but we're gonna be able to move on just fine. But just a really weird move by Reddit and really unfortunate news in the end.
Getting rid of predictions seems really weird to me, because all the other ones you can go, well, it's a business cost, you have to pay for the hosting and all that, but the predictions, I don't know, I'm having a hard time seeing it.
Well, it's like getting rid of I don't know, like any other feature that Reddit has that is already built in. It's like getting rid of image posts or something stupid to me, because it's already there, right? Like why it's not hurting anything, and there's definitely communities that enjoy it. I know, like, Our Movies has an Oscars prediction tournament every year. That thing is gigantic, man. They have hundreds of thousands of participants, and Reddit continues to be baffling sometimes in the way they work. So we will just roll with it.
I was gonna say the same thing as Mikey. Like talks, okay. The audio, all that processing power, things like that makes some sense. But predictions, I can't see that being an insanely resource heavy kind of feature. So I mean, I don't know. It's just really weird. I don't think they really, because I mean they even said like when they did the thing that they made a lot of the same mistakes as RPAN. And it's like, really? Like, so you guys knew these same mistakes you were making and you did them again. I don't know, that's like the definition of insanity, isn't it? Just doing the same thing over and over again,
Well, I,
expecting different results.
it really does seem to be like throwing something at the wall, and seeing if it sticks kind of an approach, but that's really rough on your user base. And as great as Reddit is, it relies a lot on the mods and the users. The admins are there to kind of guide us and give us a form that we can kind of mold into. But it's these communities that make up the website, and pulling features willy nilly is kind of inconsiderate to them. If you're not gonna follow through on something and you're not willing to stick with it, and it shows it makes it hard to invest in these products. And we're not the only ones saying that. Lots of other people that have taken part in RPN or this type of stuff, they're saying, man, next time
Yeah.
you roll out a new product, I'm going to be less excited to try that because it might be gone in 2 months. So that's it's detrimental to do it this way. So hopefully moving forward, they have a better plan of attack.
Well, let's give the dates then. March 21st is the last day for Reddit Talk. So that will be the last time that anybody will be able to host a Reddit Talk coming up. You will be able, or I don't know if you can download it from the Reddit. I know we will be able to, but June, they will also take away all previously hosted talks as well. But as far as us goes, this is probably the second to last talk we'll do here through Reddit. And then we will be fully switching over to YouTube
And
as a live
may I say,
podcast.
I'm really glad that we've gone through the extra effort to host elsewhere and archive our past shows so we can enjoy that really crappy audio quality from episode 1 way back when, and we're not going to lose it in this. There are communities that are scrambling to archive all their content now because of this kind of timeline they've been given. So I guess bottom line is we're bummed, and we know that some of you will be bummed too, but we're going to find a way to incorporate you, especially some of our guests. I can name many of you that have joined us over the last year and a half or so, and we hope to move forward with you and keep doing this because we think this is something a little bit unique. This is obviously just out of a fan base kind of community type thing and not about anything else really. So it's we want to keep that moving forward.
Yeah. Well, now that Band-Aid's ripped off, how about we get started into some of the news?
Yeah, let's rip another
Or
band-aid
actually,
off.
yeah, let's
Or-
just, yeah, now that that's out of the way, yeah, what news did we want to bring up?
well,
I know we have some new releases coming up.
I think maybe we should get in, and it's a few days now, but I think this is the big story of the week is the Starfield news. Uh, this was delivered in two ways. It depends how you want to think about it. One of them is we finally got a Starfield release date.
We did.
Yay! The opposite approach is Starfield has been delayed again. You know, it depends who you write for.
Yeah.
That's all I gotta
Yeah.
say. So go ahead.
People definitely doom gloom that. It's like, yay, we got to announce a date, but then usually the same news outlets that for some reason have a penchant of writing negative Xbox news was like Starfield is delayed again, and it's like, can you really delay something that never had a second date?
You can.
Um,
There's a bit of fairness to this because everything shown will be released in 12 months from the last or from
Mhm.
the direct they hosted. So if you want to pile on that, that is your right.
yeah,
The
well,
thing
no, that's fair.
the thing that bothers me a little bit is when you compare dates. Let's look at God of War, for example. Ragnarok was originally supposed to come out in 2021, and if you want to say it was supposed to come out fall, that's fine. You could say at latest it's supposed to come out December 31st, meaning it was delayed 11 months into November of 2022 at the best. And the thing that gets me is, there was a lot of hatred around that. And look how well that game turned out. Absolutely fantastic game. People loved it. And I'm seeing the same hate get put on Starfield now, that the game's going to be a mess. Game's going to be terrible. Just to me, they're delaying it so that doesn't happen. They're delaying it so that it finally comes out and we forget about the fact that Bethesda used to exist. I think they really want this title to be a a polished one.
Oh yeah.
And it speaks volumes to me because, one of the rumors was that they were going to release it slightly early to compensate for some sort of losses that Microsoft had in cloud or Azure computing. That they wanted to release it in June, and that Bethesda was pushing for fall. And if that's true, then Microsoft made the right decision. They allowed the studio to push the release so that they can bring out a better product at launch. It's only a few months, it's still the delay. But we're not looking at another year like apparently Suicide Squad might be getting. Um, this game's coming, and it's just 3 months off their launch date, their target. Unfortunate, but from all the little tidbits we got from that trailer, performance is looking a lot better.
Yeah, looked like it's at running 60 frames.
Yeah.
Smooth.
It looked way better especially if you watch some of those YouTube breakdowns like Juicehead and Maddie Plays did one, and some other people I followed, Skull Z, like they all did their own. So I watched them all to see if anybody brought up something unique, and they all did. It's looking cool, but the negativity, man. Can gamers be excited for games again, please?
Not this one. I think there's going to be a sizable percentage. Let's say 10%, and this is just pulling numbers out of my butt basically, but that are gonna hate this game no matter what. They're mad at Bethesda, they're mad at the exclusivity, and they're gonna pile in, and they're gonna they're gonna look for any fault, and they're gonna emphasize that and highlight it. So anytime this game stumbles, any kind of misstep, it's gonna be what they key in on, and I hate that. I understand the anger and the frustration about it, but I think it's unfair, which is kind of sounds silly when you're talking about video games and reviews and people's opinions of it. But I think this game is going to get docked. There's going to be it's going to show in the final Metacritic and OpenCritic, depending on publications. Like we said, I think it's going to get docked because of the exclusivity, and that's unfair because I think they're creating something really special here.
Yeah, they definitely are. And I mean, look at Hi-Fi Rush. Absolutely beautiful game. It definitely doesn't fit that Bethesda theme. You can see that when they're given the time to actually work on what they want to work on, and given the time to deliver such a great product, Bethesda can do it. And I think that's what we're going to get with Starfield.
Oh, I thought you were tying that into the Metro UK review. Because Foreman had just brought up that they're going to get a negative press on it because it's an exclusive, and that's what Metro did with the Hi-Fi Rush review.
I was going to say that Hi-Fi Rush was not immune to that. There are some people that were even angry, and they said, well, this started before Xbox purchased them. This was in an Xbox-funded game, and they just stole that from all the other gamers and all the other extreme takes you see out there and in the realm.
To be fair, Metro UK is the Kotaku of the United Kingdom. I mean, sorry.
It's not even...
Sorry,
Kotaku.
Mocha Worm.
It's worse than Kotaku.
It's like
it's
aliens have kidnapped the queen and fed her sleeping pills, but she's still alive. Like, it's right. Anthony probably has better insight on this.
It's all right as a publication, but yeah, the reviews are pretty diabolical.
It's
oh, go ahead.
I was just say, just so people know what we're talking about, Metro came out with the review that there's language in the review that said basically that they were docking points from Hi-Fi Rush because it was an Xbox title, and Xbox doesn't release games regularly that are that good.
They've already
docked points in the review.
Right. I remember
it was
that
so
now.
bad. It like they actually like they said the quiet part out loud, if you will. Like, they're just like, oh, and by the way, Xbox doesn't have good games, so it's the Xbox. Yeah, it is. They like docked it points, which is weird.
Well, I mean, look at what they did with, Hogwarts. I mean, has to be one of the worst game reviews that has ever been written, and they published it. And I mean, it's absolutely maddening that anybody is giving them codes to review games after that. It just blows my mind. Funny enough, though, for those people that hate the Game Awards, they are a jury member. They're part of the panel that votes on Game Awards and everything like that for the Game Awards.
Well,
so that's a little fun fact.
Hey, adds a lot of credibility to the Game Awards, I tell you what.
Yeah. Yeah. How they haven't lost that, I have no idea. But yep, they get to vote, and it's absolutely ridiculous.
That's great. You hear a lot of debate on panels like that, like the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame or even Sports Hall of Fame. Like certain press fighters get to cast votes for the Hall of Fame, but I don't think the Metro should be casting votes in anything.
Nope, not at all.
I might be in the minority, but I don't really get bothered by delays in games. Maybe it's because I'm older now and I'm not like so pumped about stuff all the time. But you know, I'm not. A delays. It is what it is, and it's going to be a better game. You know. And we saw that footage the other day, the vid arc thing, the release, and you could see they were drip feeding all the little screens behind him, showing, and it looked great. It looked smooth. It looked really good. I don't care. I'm not bothered about waiting for an extra 90 days.
I'm also not bothered by it, and I guess if I was really, really excited for something, if it was just like my top franchise of all time and it got delayed, I'd be a little disappointed. But I also try to be understanding. We've experienced bad games that were rushed to release, and the outcome is there's famous quotes out there. I forget who said it. You know, you can always release. Or you can always,
I think.
Yeah, it could have been, you know, just basically about releasing a game that's finished as opposed to pushing it out there and rushing it.
Was it? Sorry.
Who
said that? Who said that? What was the quote? Is it
do I have to look it up? I know
it's
started.
It's the Nintendo.
It was the head of Nintendo.
Shin.
It's a great quote, though. It's a great quote, isn't it? A rush game. Yeah, you remember the one. It's a great quote, and it's true. It's so true. You know,
Mikey?
A delayed game is eventually good. Is what the quote was. But what I was gonna say is, I'm a little bothered by the delay, and only because, you know, that November 11th, 2021 release date was out there, and Todd Howard quote said it was set in stone, and then we get E3, or 2022, sorry, E3 2022 comes around, and they're like, all these games will be launching within the next 12 months. Come to find out that Forza also does not have a release date, and Starfield is now pushed into September, which probably means they're not going to cannibalize their own game sales of Starfield. So I expect Forza probably as a holiday title November. The thing that gets me is, you know, you make these promises, you say that these games are going to come within 12 months, and then you don't deliver. And when you have a reputation of so far of not delivering, this doesn't help you. It's good that they're finally coming, and it's good that they took the initiative to say, hey, that we have to delay this, otherwise it's going to launch terribly. But don't make that promise to begin with then. Xbox better not come out ever again and say, hey, these games are coming in the next 12 months, and then miss the mark in half of them. And that's my problem with it. It's a negative one, I know that. But the promises bother me. Don't do it if you can't do it.
No, it's
so I'm gonna have to disagree on that because I know Jez said the same thing. He said no, they better not come out with that 12. Yeah, they better not come out with the 12-month thing again because they missed. But one game, I mean, out of what the 30 that they announced at E3, they miss on one game. I think it's a little unfair. I mean, yeah, they have some issues with release. I mean, COVID played a huge part. You know, that set back the industry as a whole. But you know, I mean, Stalker 2, I guess you could say, but I mean, is that really their fault? You know, some of these things, I don't know. I think it's a little unfair. I think after 30 games and they only missed the date on one, I think we should definitely give credit where credit's due to Microsoft in that.
Well, I'm only counting first party titles. So, you know, Age of Empires came out. Hi-Fi Rush came out of nowhere. That wasn't announced. They just released it when it was ready or for that show. But, you know, they're two of the three major first party titles coming out they didn't make that window. And that's my problem because those are the ones they can control. I'm not going to count Atomic Heart. You know, that was supposed to release this last fall. Stalker 2 got delayed, obviously, because of the Ukraine war. And I'm not sure about other titles, but I'm really only going after the first party ones because those are the ones to me that they control. They don't control the other ones so much. And it just bothers me a little bit. You know,
what was the second game?
Gotta hit Forza.
Oh, we have a release. I didn't see Forza release date.
No, but that was supposed to release by June, and so far with no release date, you got to be thinking that that's probably coming out holiday as well. Otherwise, they'd have announced it by now.
I
To
mean,
me.
that's fair, but we don't have a date yet, so we can't include that out of the 2 out of 3. So it's one missed date right now. 1 out of 3.
Well, then it's only 50-50 because they've only made one date and missed one date.
Yeah.
If you don't want to count Forza, then to me.
Well, I
Yeah,
mean,
I mean,
and
Redfall's still
Infinite,
coming.
we had a rough Infinite launch, and a lot of these games seem like they're getting out of the gate real slow, and I think Microsoft is a little shell shocked from that Infinite launch. I think it's obvious to almost all of us now that that game was not in a complete state, not what they had envisioned at least when they released it. They just knew they had to get something out because they're in the same boat that they are in now. People are getting antsy. I think it's a little funny. A couple days before they announced the show and the Starfield release date, we had a top post in the community that said, "Where's that? Where's that Starfield news? We've been waiting. It's been real quiet for a while, and that thing had like 2,000 upvotes. So it's a lot of people are sharing that sentiment. A couple days later, we get, "Hey, we got that Starfield news for you, but it's going to be a little slow." To me, this kind of gets to a problem of sending these release dates out years in advance. I think they tried to stop that with the 12-month thing, and then they realized that that's no good either. I think it's a bad look. I'm cool to forgive them. I'm not mad. I'm very patient. I understand what's going on, but I think marketing needs to be very careful the way they do this kind of stuff. When they say a date, it needs to be real solid. Flimsy release dates are poison. They're poison to your product. They're poison to the hype for your game and that kind of thing. People get put off by that. So even though everybody's still going to buy Starfield, I think a lot of people were kind of soured by this. I've been saying this on Twitter a lot, and I think people are probably tired of me saying it, but Blizzard is very famous for saying back in the day, like, people would be like, "Hey, when's StarCraft 2 coming out?" And they're like, "When it's done." Like, we're working on it. It'll be out when it's ready. They wouldn't give any kind of vague release time frame. They would show previews as they got closer to release date, and then the game launched. And you know what? I don't think it really hurt StarCraft 2 or any of the titles in that era, as far as sales numbers or anything. People were just like, "Oh, cool. Hey, it's done now, finally." Nobody was mad because they took a week off of work, planning for a release date, and all of a sudden it doesn't do anything for them. So I think they need to fine tune this more. If the 12-month thing isn't going to work, then just stop it. Just stop saying release dates. When it's going to be out in 3 months, that's fine. I know that makes marketing a challenge. I know that presents certain downsides, but it's a lot better than constantly delaying your game.
So we seemed kind of split.
We do,
which is good.
I agree with everything you just said, but I mean, I agree with from the product point of view but personally as a gamer, like at this point in my gaming career, like I'm okay with the delay. Like I don't, I'm not super bummed out about it. It's like I can wait 90 days. It's from what I thought it was going to be.
Certainly,
it's
and
cool.
personally, I'm good with it too. I understand.
But I get exactly what you just said from a corporate point of view. Yeah, it's not a good look, and it's.
I do want to bring up KFTGR2 in the comments says forgetting about Minecraft Legends, and we totally did. That's another first party title that's coming out from Xbox that's meeting its date.
I wasn't counting that because it's a multi-platform, and I'm speaking kind of to exclusivity here.
So it's a very refined list.
Well, okay.
It's
Even if you
very
include that one, and you include Age of Empires, so and I'm still gonna count Forza because there would have been a release date.
Wow.
They're 3 out of 5.
Age of Empires. I forgot about that. I want to go back to it. You just reminded me.
Because if you're gonna count Minecraft Legends, you have to count Age of Empires. But I said big titles, and I don't really count Minecraft Legends as a big AAA game coming out. I know it's the Minecraft IP, but that was kind of my reasoning too.
I think you would find debate to that, but I probably agree with you. It just based on the Minecraft IP alone, anything that comes out is like even Minecraft Dungeons. Would you consider that AAA?
Oh yeah, it's Minecraft.
See, it's a weird conversation, isn't it? To me, it's borderline. I guess it's like AA, AAA. It's kind of like a spinoff, but I bet you that thing has more players than a lot of games that I consider AAA. Then you get into the question: is it budget or it's a whole debate. But
and then
I get where you're coming from.
I was also going to bring up the point. I mean, yeah, we haven't heard anything from Forza, but this is where it comes into. So either they announce a date early and they can't make it because of unforeseen circumstances. And okay, so yeah, now they miss the date, or they wait 2 months, 3 months before and announce a date when they know they can meet it, and you have to wait just for that 2 or 3 months.
So you're saying,
So
what if they're doing the thing? And what if they're just waiting
yeah,
until it's ready?
I mean that could be it too. So that's why I don't want to count Forza into that yet, is because maybe they're on the cusp of it. They're just making sure they're on the checklist. Hey, they got their P's and Q's, cross their T's, dot their I's. They don't want to announce something because they don't want to repeat Starfield, especially for something like Forza. But
And
that's just my guess. I don't know if that's 100%, but
if you're right and that happened, and they're like, "Hey, Forza's going to be out in like July," just throwing a date out there, I think that would go a long way for goodwill for Microsoft and their first party products.
yeah, 100%. They definitely need it. I see the point that's being made, and I kind of agree to it a certain extent. But I think we should also give credit where credit's due, and they are meeting certain titles. They are doing stuff. So one big delay for their biggest title, yeah, I could see that. But I like that format of the 12 months. They've met most of their promises so far. But we'll see with Forza.
Hey, I think they're doing 90% of things very, very well. It's just the way gamers are and gaming media is that 10% of things that you might be slipping on. That's what we're going to be talking about.
Yeah, that's what most people talk about.
That,
Anyways, so
that's what gets the conversations going. So, where did
yeah.
you want to go next? I think we can move on from the Starfield.
I don't know. Mikey. No, are you good with that, or I just want to make sure.
Oh, good call.
Oh, I could keep being negative, but I don't want to be the negative one. I'm
All
still
right.
excited for Starfield, but I forgive him this time. Just don't do it again, please.
Okay.
I'm not mad at you. I'm just disappointed.
Yeah.
Well, actually, speaking of Mikey, did you want to bring up the point? You remember the Discord that we were talking
Oh,
about, the
right.
5 out of 10 games?
Yeah, so this is weird because it ended up being a post 2 days later,
I
so I
saw
feel like
that.
somebody somewhere got my chat from our private Reddit talks chat on Discord. I don't know how it got out there. But I'm gonna claim that I broke this story because I have a timestamp of like March 9th, and somebody posted one like on March 10th, almost identical screenshot. But 5 of the top 10 titles for Steam's most wishlisted games are coming to Game Pass day one. Um, and and those titles, let me bring up the list quick. I'll bring up the other guy's post. Those titles are Starfield, which is number 1, Party Animals at number 3, Hollow Knight Silk Song at number 4, Stalker 2 at number 6, and Arc 2 at number 9. Um,
Does anybody know what Party Animals is? That's the
I
only
was
one I'm
just
not
going to
familiar
say the
with.
same thing. It's at number 3.
it's
I
number 3.
I think
Party
it's like
Animal,
Gang Beasts, right? Kind of like
yeah,
that style of game.
Yeah,
Ah,
yeah.
yeah.
right. Yeah, it's not on my radar at all.
But I brought this up because I remember being in a Twitter space that Reddit talks copied, and they made it successful. Anyways, I'm sorry to dig at Reddit again.
They copied Clubhouse. Come on, be fair.
And somebody brought up the fact that Game Pass doesn't release big titles, that it's great for small indie developers. But at the time, I couldn't even think of anything else. And I was on this space and I said, well, what about Arc 2? And I brought this up in one of our talks a few weeks back as well, that Arc 2 just kind of proves that even games that'll probably be successful on their own are still coming to Game Pass.
Mhm.
Because Arc was massive. It's still in the top 20 of Steam's most played. It has thousands of players every day, upwards of 100,000. And it's a huge game. Arc 2 is going to be an absolute splash again, most likely, unless it just absolutely bombs. Um, and it's coming to Game Pass along with all these other titles. Hollow Knight is probably going to be big.
City
S-
Skylines 2 broke this week, and I'm so hyped for that, man. I loved Skylines. It was like the spiritual successor to what I wanted SimCity to be.
right. And these are games that are most likely going to sell well on their own, but they're still coming to Game Pass. I mean, no one's going to tell me that, Hollow Knight's going to bomb. No, it's not.
Nope.
Stalker 2 is not going to bomb either. Tons of people, when I first got into PC gaming, recommended me play Stalker. And then it still ended up being a recommended and loved title. I still was hearing up to it at like 2020, 2021. And that was a decades old title at that point almost. It's- these titles are not going to fail, but they're coming to Game Pass. So it kind of puts a cork in that argument that Game Pass only provides value to small indie developers. It doesn't. Otherwise, these other developers wouldn't be signing up.
Right. They're
Yeah,
not signing up to lose money. I will guarantee you that.
I remember that talks too that you were or that spaces, that Twitter spaces you were in. I think you and I were talking while you were doing it.
Yeah.
And yeah, I just remember you brought up Arc and then they were just kind of like, "Oh, well, this point," and it's just, the typical Twitter,
I
um, echo chamber of negative Xbox stuff just came out. Well, no exclusives. I'm being facetious on that, but
They hadn't even
you
heard of Arc.
yeah, you could hear their wheels turning, and you're like, "Well, I mean, it has like a million this player base and boom, boom, boom." And then yeah, they were just kind of like, "Oh, it doesn't count."
No, Arc is
No,
absolutely ginormous. I don't even play Arc, and I know several people that do and have lost hundreds of hours to that game. So it's yeah, you can't ignore it.
I think
Yeah,
I have something
it's
like 300 on Steam. So
it's a great game. It really is. I mean, I even played a little bit. Not my cup of tea, but I mean, I had a lot of fun, especially if you can catch dinosaurs and ride them and stuff like
Oh my
that. It's it's
gosh,
a
yeah.
it's a great concept.
It's a little janky, but also very cool at the same time. I don't know how it accomplishes both, but it's like a Bethesda game. So, anyways, let's
well, you
But yeah,
also brought up City Skylines too.
I
That's a
did.
huge get.
oh yeah,
Um, City Skylines 1 is one of the most accurate city sims there is. Anno, the other Anno title, that I can't even think about the number that follows it, is also coming to Game Pass.
It is.
The
It's
other one.
Anno 1800. This is a series that goes way back to my early days of PC gaming, which is almost before the internet, and I'm glad to see the series is still going on. A cool note about this one is that it's free to play for a week. Anybody can download the game, check it out, and play it. And if you're down with it, then you can purchase it from there. I think that shows a great deal of confidence in the product because if you know your game's jank, that's not how you do it.
yeah, and I mean, yeah, like to Mikey's point, this is and to yours about City Skylines. It's a major, major get. I mean, this is the first one came out on the platform. This is just shows you the true value of Game Pass.
Right.
Came out onto the platform, ended up leaving the platform, came back to the platform, and I mean, if Game Pass was really that detrimental to them, would they really release their brand new City Skylines 2 on the same
Right.
platform?
Also, the remastered
Um,
version, which we've seen certain games charge still, even though they've been on
yep.
Game Pass. They were like, no, that's on there too. So you can enjoy that, and we're going to be shipping two. I think there's a little bit of an avenue for them with DLC and extra content that they can sell, getting that install base up there. But that's where Game Pass really shines, is for a game just like this. I'm a huge strategy guy. I think you guys are probably keen to that by now. So I will be playing the heck out of Skylines 2. I still play Skylines 1 occasionally. I have probably a couple hundred hours in there. It's a really great game.
Oh yeah. Um, my buddy actually, he can't join the talk for some reason. He was having issues, but he says Game Pass getting more games that are mostly popular on PC helps them expand on PC and give those games bigger audiences in the console space. Very true.
I think PC gets a little ignored by a lot of primary console players, but I know Mikey's been almost primarily PC with Game Pass, and I really enjoy that flexibility. And I love it, man. I love what Xbox is doing this generation.
And you know it's actually great. Because people didn't think much of these deals back when they made them. The League of Legends and Valorant. If I go look at the PC app right now, the most popular and most played titles are number one, League of Legends, and number two, Valorant.
Yeah, so see, Microsoft is looking at more than they're looking at numbers, man. They're looking where the players are, and they're trying to make deals for those titles and games. I think Vampire Survivors is another good one. They saw a buzz game and went full in on it, and they do a really good job of finding content to highlight. And Game Pass has made a lot of success stories out of games that might have not been that popular.
Oh yeah.
So,
Uh, let's see what other news can we bring out. Redfall. I mean, we did bring it up a little bit earlier. There was some Redfall news that came out.
yep.
Uh,
some good news, I think, some gameplay confirmations. I saw some people that were kind of dismissive of what we learned, like, well, we knew it was going to be like Borderlands all along, and I'm just like, did we? Because I don't think they've really been all that um transparent, and they haven't really shared all these details with us quickly. The stuff that we're gonna learn when we discuss it here is just now confirmed, so I think we had an idea of what it was going to be, but getting confirmation really helps solidify what we expect from the game, right?
yeah, and I mean, I guess the people that were naysaying it are probably the same people that were upset by this being internet required. And I mean, I can see the point they're making, but if you want to know the reason why that's like that, is because of features like this crossplay. The weapons that are going to be everyone can earn the same weapons, use the same weapons, any class, and enemies will scale with your level or your group. Things like that are the reasons why internet connectivity is required. Um,
Sure.
but
And
I mean, that's oh, good.
I was gonna say that with the weapons, I mean, tying this back into the Borderlands comparisons, we learned the
Hmm.
weapons. Yeah, anybody can use them, but your talent trees will make you better with certain weapons. So if you have like the sniper character, you can spec that up, and then you'll be better with sniper weapons than other characters. The enemy scaling, it all does sound like Borderlands, right? But again, this was the confirmation we got from a Q&A they posted on their forums.
Yeah, yeah, and I mean, it's I'm really hyped about this. It's just sounding better and better. I hope I don't overhype myself for Redfall. I know that they had like a gameplay reveal or event space. I saw Aaron Greenberg post about it on his Instagram. Um, and
Let's
over in the Nordics, of where they were able to like have booths set up for people to play Redfall.
Yeah, lots of streamers. I think in community people, if you will, like Colt Eastwood, I think made it over there. They had events in LA and maybe other places too, where they were allowed to play the game, to get the gameplay in there. So to me, this is shaping up to be a great buddy co-op game, a squad game. I hope that it lands and delivers, and I think that they have something special here if it does.
I do want to add one thing, just so we're being genuine, because there's a lot of comparisons to Borderlands 3.
Mhm.
The main story and a lot of the side missions, there's like some extra content that they threw in, can actually be played offline. So, not to hurt Redfall, but the Borderlands comparisons didn't help it. I just wanted to point that out, in case anybody's out there going, "But Borderlands can be played offline." I know, um, but we'll see what Redfall's doing with the internet connection. For some reason, Hitman can't be played offline. Um,
Hey, I get it.
That's a weird one.
I get it if you have, you're rural, you have terrible internet, updates take a long time, that type of stuff. I understand why that would turn you off to a game like this, but I think there are reasons to have online play, even if it's just a loot check to make sure people aren't duping items, that kind of stuff. I don't know. Like I said, I understand the protest, but I'm past that. But I was also the person that when they first announced the Xbox One and they're like always online, family share, and I was like, yeah, that's a great idea. And then I was like, oh, everybody hates this. Wait, you know?
Yeah, like Hitman's a weird one. Like that makes no sense to have internet connectivity because it's not like it's not multiplayer in a sense, in the typical sense of like you can have crazy weapons to kill somebody else. You don't get those that gameplay advantage you would in like a true multiplayer person versus person game.
well,
Um
one of the things is actually Denuvo on PC. Denuvo is an anti-piracy software that runs with
Mhm.
the game, and it
mhm.
requires an online function to work. And I don't know if Hitman still has it. I know Hitman launched with it. A lot of games have it removed. Redfall will have it as well, and that's to stop pirating. And it's a really weird thing that I see out on Twitter. I see some people going, "Well, pirating, protects the game from ever going offline." It's like, yeah, but you're still stealing. It's not your game. Um, so it's really weird to watch people denounce Denuvo
Well,
and then they pirate games when they don't have Denuvo. It's like
yeah,
you're the reason Denuvo exists.
it's been a
Yeah.
controversy for ages, and it is. Yeah, it's kind of a weird area once you get into that kind of stuff.
Boko, did you have any news that you want to bring about?
I'm really interested in the acquisition news, but I don't know if you want to get into that tonight.
We created a whole special section for that, but we're not going to drone
Uh,
on for 30 minutes on acquisition news this week. I don't think we already are kind of running a little long, but let's go through and hit the highlights of this. I will say that even though this week was had some interesting tidbits, I think next week is going to be a little more
yeah,
interesting. There are some dates on the acquisition calendar, if you will, where Microsoft will be making a reply to the EU. I think I'll look that up while we discuss this a little bit, but should we turn it over to Mikey?
Sure.
Sure. Mikey says
I'm
yes.
going
We
to
should
start off
turn it
with
over to
this one
him. Go
because
for
this
it.
is the one that I thought, and I need to go back. Hogue Law did a hour and a half stream, and I haven't watched it. He did it a couple days ago. But the one that really got to me, if this is true, the CCO of Activision came out and stated that the CEO of SIE, which is Jim Ryan, said, and I quote, "I don't want a new Call of Duty deal. I just want to block your merger."
unbelievable. It's unbelievable that she even published that. I think
I
that
was
that
on Twitter,
information.
like I was there for the moment, and I don't know if you can be there for a Twitter moment, but I saw it as soon as she posted it
Me
because I
too.
do follow Lulu, and I looked at it and
Yeah,
I was
same.
like, what is she saying? And I had to run it through my head a few times. I'm like, did
Hmm.
she just say what? And then Tom Warren chimed in pretty quick. Tom Warren's really on the ball with a lot of this stuff, and he's like, when did he say that? And her
Yeah,
reply
and then
was,
within
she gave the date, but
yeah,
February
and
21st.
then within 5 minutes, he had an article up on The Verge,
Yep.
full written article about it. Yeah,
yeah. So,
he,
but
he,
she didn't exactly precisely say, all the details. But if you put everything together that she did say, you would assume that this is what was said behind closed doors, and you would also assume that she would not say this under any situation unless it was true.
yeah,
There's slander.
absolutely.
There's all kinds of legal consequences when you're dealing with a situation like this, where if you put out a falsehood, that they can come after you. If not, if even at the very minimal, it hurts your credibility if you start spreading BS. So I think she heard this, and Lulu's a little feisty, isn't she?
She is
Yeah.
very. So, Mikey,
Um,
Yeah.
what
Well,
does what does this reveal like to you?
I feel like this undermines some of their arguments, because part of their argument is that they want a better deal, that they don't think the deal initially was good. They don't think 10 years is sufficient. They think Microsoft can get out of behavioral remedies and all this. It's like if you come out and just say that we don't want a new deal, we just want to block your merger, because no matter what you do, we won't be satisfied, is kind of disingenuous. Um, I mean, I guess it's consistent with logic if you follow it all the way, but it also just shows that you're kind of acting only in your own interests, which they should be, but you're not coming to play ball at all. And at the end of the day, this is about consumers, and it's not only about Sony and Microsoft. It's also about consumers, and I just it hurts them in my eyes. It looks childish.
I think
I
earlier,
don't. I don't. It
I
definitely
said,
hurts their PR.
yeah, I said we were talking about something else, and I said say the quiet part out loud. Well, that's exactly what happened here, right? Like everybody knew that, but you didn't have to come out and lay that down. I want to know the context of where that came from. Like, where did Jim Ryan feel like, we don't want your deal. We just want to block this murder. Like, when do you throw a line like that down, man? Like, especially in any kind of official proceeding like that.
Well, with this though, I think even more so it brings out the point, like Mikey was saying about being disingenuous, is that okay, then this is the whole reason why this is happening is because of Call of Duty. And now if you really aren't that concerned about Call of Duty, your whole argument's done. This is just about being Microsoft and Xbox, and you're the competition, and you don't want them to have the shiny new toy. It has nothing to do with Call of Duty, which most of us have already kind of figured out. But it's just, yeah, it's crazy that I mean, he even came out and even said that. I mean, maybe he thought he had the protection of closed doors, but obviously not, because if she's willing to come out with this and put him on blast like that, I mean, it's a definitely dumb statement by Jim Ryan to
I
say
mean,
public.
where does this leave? Where does this leave their relationship with Activision?
Oh
Like,
man, that
Just-
bridge
you know,
is
even
that bridge
if
is
the
in the
mer-
river on fire already.
if the merger doesn't happen, what happens next? Like, where do they stand with Activision? Like, how will they work together in the future?
not
That-
well.
Yeah, I'm interested in
which-
that timeline. I am. So like, however this comes out, I'm gonna be watching very closely because
it's
I
like
want to see what happens either way.
popcorn.gif.
Jez brought up your very point a month and a half ago, and Ty Kim replied with, "Well, money talks." It's like, well, in this instance, it money will talk because you're taking away a 20% increase of Activision share prices. So whatever you offer next isn't going to compensate that. I think they've hurt their relationship permanently with the current executives and shareholders at Activision, and I don't see it recovering in the short term.
And
If this deal doesn't go through.
Bobby Kotick's
Yeah.
on record. He's like, if this doesn't go through, he's like, I'm not going anywhere. Like, good luck dealing with that, Sony. I mean, it's just going to be a mess for them.
The other
that
one-
and
What a
I was
threat!
going to say.
Go
Oh,
on,
I was going
sorry.
to say that. Yeah, they're done with the deal. There's no way that Sony, especially with their deal ending next year, there's no way that they're going to get that cutback that they've been getting for Call of Duty sales on PlayStation. That's gone. It'll probably be something where whatever marketing exclusivity they want, probably going to be doubled. Or whatever they're paying for is probably going to be a pretty high price tag now. Game Pass will still happen no matter what, probably. Xbox will, that 70 billion. I mean, they're not going to spend all 70 billion, but if they're willing to spend 70 billion dollars, I'm sure they can kick a billion of that if it doesn't go through to getting Call of Duty on Xbox Game Pass. I mean, yeah, Sony may block this, but if it doesn't go through, I think it's a lot worse for Sony in the long run.
And the other comment this week was that they've suggested that Xbox could release buggier versions of the cross-platform titles on the machine. Like,
Self-reflective much?
a lot of people have have said that exact thing. They've said, why would they suggest this if this is something they're doing?
Rejection.
And they've then provided examples of Sony released games which perform worse on Xbox, which buggier. So,
And I want to provide
that's-
one of the 150 developers that helped in Callisto Protocol, and then suddenly, reflections in the mirrors weren't even there.
Yeah.
And I look at Minecraft as evidence for Microsoft. I'm pretty sure the Series X only runs Minecraft at native 1080p, and PS5 runs at 4K. And that's Microsoft's biggest IP. Why that is, I don't know. I actually heard that. I believe that from Randall Thor. So it kind of hurts that argument. And why would you be saying that unless you do it yourself? Why would you have any inkling to believe that because I haven't seen any Microsoft products do that. I haven't
No.
seen any of the Minecraft games do that they're currently bringing out.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Maybe Deathloop is one of those titles that runs better on Xbox, but at the end of the day, the hardware sheet shows that the Xbox is actually slightly more powerful. So how do you quantify that? It just seemed really weird, and like they're just throwing whatever they can out there. Man, all these good ones came out this week, and you're like, Sony, Jim, what are you doing, man? Like, that's your argument?
it
you
really
gotta do a
feels
little
like
better.
it really feels like they're sort of letting. I mean, usually corporates don't speak like this, do they? It's all red tape and it's all vetted, and it seems like the guard's slipping, and the more they're backed into a corner, the more dangerous the language, or the more.
The one
Yeah.
that got me was Microsoft confirms that it will let Sony put Call of Duty on PlayStation Plus on day one. And apparently in the documents that were released, they want it free.
They
Because
said the terms were not satisfactory. They were like, whatever Microsoft offered, and I'm sure there's some price tag, right? Like,
Right.
like
Because it
you're putting it
doesn't
on your service. You're going to be making money from Call of Duty on your service. You're not going to like, what's going on?
because it doesn't fit their current subscription model.
Yeah.
It's like, okay, well, it fits Microsoft's. I know that you get to come out and charge $70 for The Last of Us Part 1 again. You get to come out and charge $70 for every game and never put it into your service for a full year. for the same price, or the higher monthly. Actually, their month-to-month price is higher than Xbox's for some reason. While Microsoft offers those games in their service, just because it doesn't fit your model, you want it for free.
To be fair to Sony, their annual price is cheaper than Game Pass Ultimate, but that's if you buy it a year at a time. And it's an okay service, but I find Game Pass superior. Might be
I
a
mean,
little
I can get
biased.
Game Pass for $130 for
Very
3 years.
true.
That's what I did.
Yeah.
I don't have, we can do those workarounds, and I know plenty of people do that because you see it all over on Twitter and on Reddit. Everyone's like, "How can I get this cheaper?" And somebody outlines it every single time.
Every time
New
somebody
guy.
needs to roll over, they come to ask about it. They're like, my Game Pass ran out. What do I do?
And Microsoft is saying that they're not going to increase the prices after the deal.
Also news this
So
week.
it's a flat price.
They made the case that subscriber numbers mean more than profit margin per subscriber, and I think they're right. I think Call of Duty is going to bring in a lot of money, and even at $15, I still wouldn't be surprised. I am surprised that they came out and said something so declarative about this, because I think most of us would be fine paying another $5 a month if they added all the Call of Duty and some Activision Blizzard, but more power to them if they can keep the price point the same.
Oh yeah, and especially with the friends and family plan that's supposed to be coming out. It's any minute now
I got
for the United States.
Yeah.
That's I mean, and also too to bring up, Mikey just brought it up. I'm pretty sure those little workarounds are probably going to go away once the friends and family plan comes out. I
Which
can't see Microsoft still honoring that workaround that's so widely known with such a good deal like the friends and family plan.
Which is okay, when especially in a time when we have Netflix cracking down on account sharing. Xbox is providing us an avenue to officially support it. As a father of 2 kids now, one heading off to college this coming fall, what a great deal for me. I can ship my kids off with Series S's and Game Pass family subscription, and their college gaming needs are pretty much met. So that's fantastic value if you have a larger player base in your house.
Oh yeah. But yeah, it's just so weird. This whole merger stuff, this whole deal, it's just yeah. I'm still blown away that not only did Lulu call it out, but Jim Ryan actually said that. It's just absolutely mind boggling. Um,
It
It,
just it's not the comment you expect from a CEO, and I know I'm being harsh, but you expect like us four to be the one to make childish comments, not Jim Ryan.
yeah.
So
no.
has Jim Ryan replied to this? Has he been had any reply to
Oh,
this?
no.
Does he have a Twitter? I don't follow his account if he does, but
I don't
has
think
he?
he can.
I don't even know if he plays video games.
No. Have you seen him hold a PlayStation controller?
No,
And not
no.
to go, my dad can beat up your dad, but I'm pretty sure Phil Spencer actually just finished Vampire
He
Survivors,
did. I was so
He
impressed by
did.
that. I was like,
which
man,
is champ, Pog
uh,
champ right there. I'm gonna give him the title.
no, the guy is finding time to game, and if you believed his Twitter account, he's gaming like in the bathroom, and like I just picture Phil Spencer like in between every meeting, like, oh, I got to get in a few more rounds on Vampire Survivors or whatever he's doing. One of my favorites is he plays Microsoft Solitary quite a bit.
That's the 6th most played game on PC Game Pass, by the way.
Okay, I mean, come on, it's like the OG computer game.
Yeah, my wife also plays it. Do we want to switch gears?
We should.
This is also kind of a negative story, but I'm going to bring it up because I touched on it this week while I was doing my playthroughs of stuff, and I forgot about it. Outer Worlds Spacer's
Oh
Choice
yeah.
Edition.
I sigh because it's not a great week for Outer Worlds. Fill us in because you played it.
Has anybody played it on Xbox?
Yeah.
Not the upgraded edition.
Have you played the upgraded edition, Moko?
No, I played the original, the
Okay.
launch version.
So I've heard that it runs well on Xbox, but on PC, man, my God. First thing I did, I have a 3080, and I've got a 5900X. And I cranked everything to ultra, and I was getting below 40. I'm like, wow, what is causing this? And then I did a screenshot comparison of ultra and high, and I jumped to 90, 100 frames. So that was like, okay, well, maybe I can just fix this with running it high because it looked nearly identical. Besides the ship in the past was a little more shadowy. um, but it keeps stuttering, and that's the thing that's getting me. You walk around, and you get these. It's like a total drops to zero for a second, and that's what stuttering is, or just some absurd number, and you can't play through it. Sometimes it gets so annoying because it visually pulls you out. You're mid combat, things are like,
Oh, hate it.
or you're just walking through town. Cutscenes work well. And I noticed, very small details, like you look at a character and it's no longer just this opaque eye. There's actually that you can see like the clear portion of their eyeball as they look side to side. They've done a lot of little nice things, but whatever the performance issue is, man, um, especially for a lot of PC gamers out there that don't have a 3080, maybe they're running a 2080 or 2070, which is a respectable build because the 2070 is near what the Xbox is. It's just running like crap. This is an unacceptable port. And I know it was made by Private Division. They came out and said that Obsidian apologized for Outer Worlds. They said that Private Division is working on getting a patch out as soon as possible. As the publisher, Obsidian, you can't let this out the way it did, because you had to have known that it was running like this.
Mostly negative on Steam, so not isolated.
Yeah.
This isn't like a few users. This is everyone can see that this game is running awfully. And as Mikey just said, you can't. Oh, you got to play test your game, even if it's just you.
Yeah.
If one person played this, they would have seen that there are obvious issues here. So I never understand how a game reaches retail release in a state like this, because somebody played the game. It just took one person to see that there's a problem here, right?
That was my question, right? So Cyberpunk, for example, that was a AAA title, big push on the release date. We heard later on it just had to ship, But something like this, which is like an upgrade, a vanity project in essence, like, how does that even happen? How does that? Like Jay just said, they must have played it internally, like massively.
Right.
Everyone will have seen these issues, but somebody's put it out the door. It just
Right.
makes no sense.
That's the only logical conclusion, is that somebody played it and said, either nobody's going to notice this, or I don't give a bleep. Those are the only two options. Either they thought nobody was going to notice it, or they didn't care.
No, I don't think they had a choice.
There you go.
Especially
Forced.
with, yeah, I think this is something that they probably were obligated with for contracts. And I think if Private Division was gonna do this is probably why Obsidian probably is the publisher, not the developer. They probably didn't see a need. They're like, we're already making the second version of this. Why do we need a special Spacer's Choice thing? And it's like, well, if you want to do this, this is part of our contract, but here you go. You're going to do the development. We'll just publish, kind of deal. Kind of like No Man's Sky, and how Sony, they had to have known the state that was in, but they were like, screw it. Here it is, and then they threw Hello Games under the bus.
But is it not worse? Is it not worse to release a game like this and have this PR than to not meet the deadline?
So much worse. And you would think that in this case, a publisher, somebody from Obsidian, would have proofed it, would have asked for the lowdown. How's the game running? Some kind of quality check in there somewhere to be like, okay, we need to pump the brakes on this. But I think it's absolutely baffling, even with a forced date, even with contractual obligations, that you can, see that it has these huge issues and you still push it out. And I think.
Well, that's why I think. Oh, good.
Oh, you first.
Well, that's what I was like. I was gonna say that's why I think Obsidian's just like, hey, here's the contact info for Private Division.
Yeah,
we're sorry they released it like this. Like, here's their info.
Redivert the phone numbers.
They're like, they're working really hard on it over there. Just send them your messages and they'll take care of it.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure Obsidian, they've already made it known and clear. Hey, we had nothing to do with this other than this is our title we originally developed, but we're just the publisher. We're sorry. Here's the actual developer.
Can you play it, Mikey? So going back to actually playing the game, like, is it something that you've shelved because you're waiting for the patch?
It's playable, but I'm just in the opening area. I'm not even in the graphically intensive areas yet. To me, I just made it to the first town. I'm now at the I'm now making my way to the power plant. I gave it a fair shake, but I'm going to shelve it till it's patched. And I did put money down on it. I bought everything because I had, I believed in them, and I spent like $40.
I respect you being able to set it aside though, and just not trying to power through it. And unfortunately, that's kind of the reality with a lot of games these days, isn't it? That you buy them and you're just like, oh man, I gotta wait for a few patches before they get this up to quality. The way you were describing Atomic Heart and some of the gameplay that you shared, where you got stuck on invisible boundaries. It goes. I mean, this is a problem that's occurred all the way back to the the NES era on certain games, and I don't think there's a single more frustrating thing to have happen to you in any game than to that specific situation. Awful.
Yeah. I don't know if I ever brought up the Atomic Heart thing in here, and that's another thing I'm waiting for the patch, not just the achievements, but I found myself getting stuck on weird surfaces randomly throughout the game, like multiple times, that should have been picked up in testing. And it was awful. Like there was one section I had to do this kind of jumping puzzle through a back corridor with fans and stuff, and I fell down because I missed. But the game lets you crawl back to the beginning to try to get back up. But there's one section where you have to jump through this box and this piece of like wall that creates this V on the floor, and you have to jump through it. And I got stuck on it every time. So I had to reload the save rather than just walking back, which meant I had to re-kill like 3 enemies after the save point, walk back down there. It happened more than once. So developers, I get that you have to meet deadlines, but I'm starting to lose faith, man. I'm starting to become a patient gamer, which hasn't been my thing for years. I'm tired of getting buggy games.
I too enjoy the hype waves, and I think the patient gamers really have it going on though, if I may say. I like getting out of the game when it's all the buzz and getting in there when everybody's talking about it, but for personal playthrough experiences, unfortunately, it's better to wait a lot of times. And I think it's kind of funny to bring this conversation back to Starfield as they tell us that we got to wait a little bit longer. This really kind of emphasizes that maybe that's for the best in the end.
It is. If I start getting stuck on a ground though, like in the middle of the main city,
I'm docking a full point and a half.
I will lose it, man. Like, not again.
I was gonna say, yeah, my buddy Corey, actually, he got stuck as well. He put 11 hours in, and I can't remember which one he's playing it on, but he said for some reason he only has one ability to access one save file, and that's the one that they saved him into. So pretty much 11 hours just down the drain. There's no way for him to fix it.
I'd be done.
Because
he was like,
I'm
high on life. My patience is 0.
Oh man, your horror stories have really man, you're just making me relive some of my worst gaming nightmares, man. Just the last few months with High on Life and Atomic Heart both. How frustrating.
Yeah.
If I may, and we're at an hour 20 now on the show, and I just wanted to maybe speed run the news. Can we do a speed run of what's left?
Mm-hmm.
Yes. All right, so I'm gonna go through first. First, we had impressions of the Resident Evil or Chainsaw demo, which released this week. Everybody kind of knew it was coming, but they dropped it out there anyway. Some comments from the users. Frenchberry77 says he thought it was great. It looks and feels like a modern Resident Evil 4 would be like. Plus, Leon said the bingo line, effing amazing. North Poutine guy says, I love how many graphic options the Resident Evil 4 demo has, like toggle ray tracing, motion blur, depth of field, and off and on, etc. But most importantly, the frame of view slider. Gamers had been asking for this feature for years, but only a handful of games had it. Wish more devs could do this. So anyways, the takeaway here is that people really loved the Resident Evil 4 demo, which is very positive because the game comes out pretty soon, right?
Yeah. Yes.
I don't have the exact release date. I'm sorry. This month, I do believe, toward the end of it.
March 24th, I want to say.
All right. Look at you, man. You were like on the
I wanted to say that too, but I was Googling it first.
I saw Mikey typing, but Kevin was like, yeah. So
yeah, I think it's March 24th.
Sure, that's awesome. So I'm excited for that. I've been looking for a scary game, and I think I'm ready to get in there. And then after I play one, I'm usually like shook, and I won't play one for like another year. But
you're wrong.
I will say it's
March
pretty terrifying.
23rd.
Oh, it's 23rd. I was off by a day.
You got to blur this out in the edit.
Yeah, we'll take care. We'll take care of that in post.
Yeah, Mikey's making work for
we'll
me.
deal
It's
with that.
fine.
In
I'm leaving
post.
it in. I don't care. That's
Yeah, I was actually genuinely terrified. Not terrified, but like scared at like the atmosphere they set during the demo. And then once you start getting that villager scene, I mean, it's not spoilers because we've already played this. At
there
least the
are
beginning part.
yeah, there's some things that might like take people by surprise, or if they want to know if it's still in there, kind of thing. But yeah, we know what's going on. So yeah,
Yeah, it was genuinely terrifying. Like especially once, the villagers start coming after you, and then the chainsaw. I mean, it's a chainsaw demo for a reason. Everybody remembers it from the first one, but yeah, the chainsaw guy starts. It's just I was actually genuinely like kind of like, oh crap, like man, this is pretty intense. I'm actually I got that horror theme, the stuff that we wanted from Scorn for
See-
combat is what I'm getting from the Resident Evil 4 demo.
sure. Much more active, much less puzzly, much more like, oh my
Yeah.
god, I'm gonna die and this sucks. But which is fun for some people, crazy bastards. But we should also announce that Xbox showed off their Velocity green design wireless controller. You can buy it now. I believe it's officially released. I have the yellow one behind me, the shock yellow. It's the same kind of design. It does have a white backplate. A little controversial. Some people wanted a solid green design. I actually like the offset white backplate, but again, this is completely subjective, and your mileage may vary. But it's out there if you want to purchase it. I have noticed that after a couple weeks, you can usually find these for on sale at various retailers.
So I got my red and blue one.
There you go. You got a red and blue Xbox controller?
Mm-hmm.
What one is that?
Might be shock blue and something.
Okay. Is
red.
it like a two-tone, or is it like
No, I have a blue and a red one.
Oh, okay. I was so
Yes.
excited, man. I was like, what do you got going on, dude?
No, I bought a blue one for my wife. It's her favorite color, and red for me because it's my favorite color.
Terrific. I have the red one
versus
as well. All right. That's nice.
I got the Pride one.
That thing's fantastic,
cool.
man.
Yeah, I was lucky to be able to score one. Got my little name down at the bottom.
It looks like a bunch of suspenders superimposed on it.
Oh yeah, but it's an awesome controller.
Was that purchasable?
Design Labs. Yeah, Design Lab.
Okay. Oh, Design Lab for sure.
I got it when we went to FanFest last year. We
Nice.
did the show. They had a booth there, and then that's how they got me on the camera. Is because I was the first one there buying the controller,
Awesome.
and then they used it in the footage.
So
Keen on.
So yeah, Spotify's added video now. So if you listen to us on Spotify, you can actually pull up a video as you're listening, and you will be able to see Kevin just showed us his controller. For additional news, this one is kind of small. I noticed this on Twitter and submitted it, and it really tracked well. You no longer need to activate your Game Pass featured Game Punch card on the Rewards app on Xbox. It's automatically update or activated. I know that.
Makes sense. Makes sense.
Yeah, go ahead.
I was going to say it makes sense. It's like it made enough. Why did you have to activate it anyway? It's like you're in the rewards program. You've got the app. Like it just seemed like it just seemed like a really rubbish way of keeping those points away from people if they had missed it.
I'm glad they changed this because I actually had an incident where I ran into this. So I bought the season 2 of the Battle Pass only to go back to the rewards app and see that I needed to spend 1,100 or buy 1,100 COD points, which I had just done.
But you
And
had
then
to
I
activate
activated
it.
and I would have earned an extra 500 points, but it didn't count because I did it before I punched the card.
Yeah,
That's
so
dumb.
It's like, oh,
When you
So,
really think
good
about
change.
it, that people need to visit the app to redeem it anyway. So make them to visit it to activate it. Like they're already going to be in there. You're really not gatekeeping as much as you think you are. If that was intended to deter people from using these redemption bonuses, so a good move in the end. I know that the guy that posted that he's kind of newly in charge of promotions, retention, and that kind of stuff. So maybe he had some input on it. It's interesting to see that they look at the smaller things like this. His name is Daniel Martins, by the way, and he is the currently the Xbox loyalty marketing lead. So good job, Daniel. His tweet got a ton of traction too. He got like 10,000 likes on it when he normally gets like 20 or 30. So good job. Anything else this week? Let me roll through here.
You mentioned Vampire Survivors.
I did.
Isn't going to get but like you said last week, not everything needs a sequel, and as amazing as it is, what could they do new for Vampire
well,
Survivors?
Deep Rock Galactic's now copying them, so
Yeah.
Yeah,
making their own version.
Hey, and why not? Everybody wants to hit that while it's hot, I guess. So, to their credit, I think like the Stardew Valley guy, kind of like a comparison maybe, is working on the Chocolatier, which looks just like Stardew
can't
Valley,
wait.
and he went the other way. He's just like, you know what? I know what I do well. I know people love it, so I'm gonna do it again with just a little bit of a different flavor, chocolate taste. But
No reason to reinvent the wheel.
yep.
That's
So
perfect.
it's kind of, Vampire Survivors is doing great with DLC, and maybe that's just kind of a different approach to expanding the content of your game.
Yeah.
Sadly, Xbox won't be at E3 this year, at least on the floor. They're going to be there electronically. This isn't really news because even pre-COVID, Xbox did not attend E3 on the floor. If you're familiar with E3, unfortunately, it's not what it once was, right?
Well, to their credit, they own a building just down the street, and that's where they do their stuff.
Yep. The Microsoft Theater's right across from. Well, now it's the Crypto.
Right.
It used to be the Staples, but.
Well, how do you feel? How do you
the
feel?
convention center.
Is it the Silicon Valley Bank? No, I'm kidding.
Oh!
Sorry about that.
Ouch.
Sorry, Roku.
They do it for E3 though, right? So it still conjoins with E3. It's really
Yeah. It usually happens during the week.
Yeah.
But I find it weird that they disassociate with E3 to then just hijack that crowd for their own thing. Like, it's a bit.
Well, I mean, I have to think
Yeah.
that E3 charges money to take part.
Of course.
To present there, and Microsoft is probably just like, what? So they're going their own route about it. They're still going to be there digitally. We're still going to get news from them. They're just not going to be on the floor, which is kind of disappointing for people that like to attend in person and mix it up and fist bump and all that. Go ahead.
You go, don't you,
It's been like that since 2017 for Xbox, 2018 for Sony. Both of them have left the floor since then, and they've either done their own thing. Well, I think Sony's just stopped E3. All they did was their presentations, and that was it. They may have had some booths or something, but they didn't have like a dedicated Sony spot anymore.
I think they did in 2019.
They may have been 2019. I may have had the date wrong.
I remember seeing them there, and then the Xbox thing was all located in the theater, and basically what kind of ruined it was actually allowing fans to come, and allowing too many fans to come. You'd walk in, and if you wanted to play Call of Duty and Destiny, you weren't going to that day. You were playing one. You had to run at opening to a line, otherwise it was a 4-hour wait. And I'm not exaggerating that.
No, he's not at all. I would say he's actually underselling it because 4 hours is relatively short.
You wait 4 or 5 hours, and then you get to the front, and then what? You get to play what?
And then you
like
get to
5
play
minutes.
like Mario Odyssey. I remember it was
but
one
how
of the
long?
lines I rushed for.
Sure.
Like 5 minutes.
Yeah, pretty much.
It's like
a ride at Disneyland.
Yeah. It's like
I
going to
get
the
to
theme
say-
park.
I get to say I was the 8th person in the whole world of the general public that got to play Call of Duty. Whatever the last World War II one was, wasn't that good.
Yeah, pretty much like Nintendo. Like that's the biggest shock because that was always the biggest booth at E3. I mean, I've gone to E3. I mean, it's hosted here where I live, so I'm very privileged that I get to go every year or want to go every year if I can. But it's Nintendo was their biggest booth, and Mikey's not lying. If anything, I think, like I said, he's underselling that time frame because you either had to run to what you wanted to play first, or else you're looking at a 5 to 6 hour line. Pretty much your whole day is spent waiting to get into that booth. I mean, back then though, they used to give you like freebie and swag and stuff like that, so it was almost worth it to a certain extent, depending on the swag. But no, still, I mean, I used to go also when I was industry, and I loved it. I'm sorry, I loved going as industry because it was like 5-minute lines.
Yeah, it's worth mentioning that this year they are splitting it up into 2 parts, right? So the first day is going to be media and industry, and then the second not first day, but the second part is going to be for the general public. So it does seem kind of like you guys describe it. It reminds me of going to like Cedar Point or Walt Disney World or whatever your amusement park is in your region, and just getting in line for the big ride. You might get 2 or 3 of them in, and then call it a day, which is pretty rough.
Yeah, they definitely went the San Diego Comic-Con route with E3, which sucks. because if you've ever been to that, it's just shoulder to shoulder of just hot stank, and it's just you try and cross over an aisle, and you gotta Mother Jesus Mary, pray that you're gonna make it to the other side without getting your toe stepped on, or
It
somebody
doesn't.
pushes you over, or
It doesn't sound like fun to me, Kev. At all. It doesn't sound like.
It's like
I mean,
it sounds like the
from
county
That's why
fair now. You went from the theme
Yeah.
parks to my county fair in August, man, where everybody's just
That's why
sweating and-
it degraded to where it was, is because industry people couldn't get around. It was hard to do what you really needed to do because that's what E3 was originally, was networking, to
industry.
show off what you have, to work within the industry, see what they're doing, things like that. It was a networking event, and that completely went out just for profit. So they
Yeah.
could, who runs it? The ESA. So they could make a profit off of it, and they went the San Diego Comic Con route, and it was awful, and that's why everybody started backing out.
Do you pay for your ticket? Do you have to pay as a consumer to go to B3? Or is it like a lottery of free tickets?
Yeah, so
It's a
go ahead.
lot.
Yeah,
It's
Is it?
it,
like
Pay a lot. Wow.
$400
Really?
I
when,
was
when I last
yeah,
went.
I was
I got-
fortunate because Xbox, since since I always go to FanFest, that used to be part of it. Is they would have the shirt, the jersey, they would give you a ticket to E3, and you
Yep.
could go to the show floor after.
Oh, that's cool.
And that was the last one I went to, was 2019. They gave us an E3 ticket.
Yeah,
And I will say that we've had kind of rumblings and offers to maybe attend some of these events, and if we ever do get the opportunity to, or if Kevin is just in the area there, when they did the was it the Xbox Bethesda show that you went to? You fed us live video on
Yes.
one of our Xbox talks, and that's one of my favorite moments on this show. He was just walking around and talking about the
There's a
booths and
good one.
stuff.
There's a good one in London, Eurogamer
Sure.
event
And
that started up in London. That's a
there's
good
still
one,
a big one in
the UK.
Europe. I would say that it's probably
Gamescom.
Yeah, it's probably the
Gamescom. In,
biggest one
Cologne?
biggest one out there. States or
in
Europe.
September, I think.
And I've heard great things from Delicious Cheese, one of the moderators over at Xbox One. I met him in 2019 at E3, and to quote him, he said E3 was shit in his Finnish accent compared to Gamescom. So there you have it.
I think I might go to Gamescom this year. I want to make it work. But yeah, if I do go to Gamescom, for sure, I'll send video and do all that fun stuff. But I've heard Gamescom is an absolute blast. It's amazing. Definitely from where it used to be to where it is now. It's been a huge improvement. It has a lot more mainstream eyes on it.
Yeah, I would like to also attend that. That it seems amazing. I'm a little scared about roaming around in Europe by myself. I've thought about it a few times, but what an event that would be to see. We should move on, and this one is for. Go ahead.
Sorry, I just see Foreman getting trapped like Euro Trip, where the guy's like, "Excuse," in the train car. I don't know if you guys ever seen that movie.
That's my biggest fear, man. I'm just like, oh man, what if just gonna be lost in some foreign country by myself? And
Cologne's really good, really nice. It's a cool place to visit as well.
I'll have to recruit you, Anthony, if I ever cross the pond there, and you can be my guide.
You'll be our Europe guide,
right? This one's from Mikey, and this is our closing news for the week. Metal Hellsinger, Dream of the Beast DLC. It launches later this month. Brand new songs for you. I know that you really enjoyed this. You're not alone. I actually played a little bit of this one too, and so let me ask you: will you pay for a DLC? Is it good enough to do that? You will. Okay.
Oh yeah. As the former #1 player of the Xbox PC game
That's
app
right.
environment.
This guy was #1 in the world. Like, he's a professional Metal Hellsinger player. So,
so I loved it. I can't wait to go back. It's unique enough from Hi-Fi Rush. I know a lot of people that loved Metal Hellsinger were dogging Hi-Fi Rush because some mechanics weren't shared between the two. It's like they're two very different titles, but they just these rhythm games get the blood going in a way that other ones don't. So I love it. I'm gonna get it. I can't wait.
in Dream of the Beast, you'll take on more hellish minions, shooting along to the heavy metal beat using the new red right hand machine gun, while sporting 3 new outfits with unique gameplay modifiers, and listening to the aforementioned 2 new tracks. Those 2 new tracks will be Dream of the Lacuna Coils, Christina Scabia, and Will Romo's Lauren Shore. So I don't know that music particularly, but that's what you're in for. So sounds
A
like
machine gun.
it's worthwhile. Yeah, machine gun right hand weapon. Don't know.
Huh.
Huh.
Oh.
I wonder how that's gonna work because it's definitely a game that you're like dun 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 dun, like you're on rhythm. So a
This will be
machine
like
gun that
16,
only
this will
shoots
be
like
like
Right.
16. Like it's just 16. So
Right,
like,
so it's a Megadeth song.
yeah, yeah. Maybe it's
Could-
just
yeah.
it changes the rhythm. Do, 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 do.
Switches up to what they call Iannas. 1 Ianna, 2 Ianna, 3 Ianna, 4
Oh, there you go.
Ianna.
Wow, this
It's
guy,
usually-
high school band geek.
I
there for
play the
sure.
drums, so
Oh,
yeah.
there you are.
Played sax in middle school. I guess I'm not as cool.
No, I mean
Yacht
sax.
Rock's cool.
Sax is as cool as it gets, man. Especially in the '80s, anyway. But
Yeah, you ever seen the guy from Lost Boys? That's like the best sax moment ever.
you need your shirt off for that though.
Yeah, I
that's
don't know
what
if
I
you
was
guys
gonna
know the
say.
reference.
If you don't
I
have a
love it, baby.
ponytail and you're there's a certain sax look from the '80s, and
Like it was totally unnecessary. It's like the writers were just like, you know, would this make this scene even better? A shirtless guy greased in lube and a ponytail playing the saxophone and pelvic thrusting everywhere.
it was a
What a-
It was
legitimate
like the
thing,
most
though.
ridiculous scene that I've ever seen.
Like-
Sorry,
like
total
Not the
19
Top Gun volleyball scene.
Oh
It's
my
better.
god.
Yeah,
Wow.
that's a pretty ridiculous scene too.
There was
My
a
favorite-
period in music during the mid to late '80s where the saxophone just had this great moment where like everybody had to include a saxophone on their song, and it was just it faded
It was
quickly.
years of yacht rock. Yacht
Oh,
rock
the yacht
is
rock.
it's still a real thing.
Sirius
I used
XM
to actually
station.
go to a yearly yacht rock party, and we'd go to a bar, and we just sing yacht rock songs. We all dress up in like captain's uniforms,
Just
and
like Hall and Oates.
ship
And...
uniforms, and we just sing karaoke songs of yacht rock songs. The greatest thing ever. It's like so much fun.
Maybe
They
for the
actually
people
did
singing.
recreate that scene. Oh yeah, maybe not for the people listening, but for us singing, it's a blast. They actually did recreate that scene, Mikey, in the new one. I don't know if you've seen it. The
Yeah.
volleyball. It's now football, but yeah.
I saw it in theaters. I
I,
love the movie.
people enjoyed it. I haven't seen it yet, but I was happy
My,
to see some good buzz.
My
We-
favorite comment. My favorite comment on the thread tonight is from Ace, and he just writes, "Todd Howard is not an honest man." That's his
It
comment
doesn't
on the
matter.
Not gonna lie, I downvoted him.
It doesn't matter because he has that leather jacket. Wow, Mikey's.
Todd Howard is not an honest man. The
Todd
discourse-
Howard is one of the most passionate people I've ever seen in gaming. Like with the Starfield announcement trailer, if you go back and watch it from a guy that's just genuinely excited about his game, you can tell.
He's
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is.
I
He's
agree.
legit pumped.
He's not a snake oil salesman. We're not talking about Peter Molyneux here. We're talking about Todd Howard.
That's a whole nother can of worms, man. Yeah.
I think you're mispronouncing his name. It's God Howard, sir.
God Howard. I was about to bring that up. There's a
Alright.
reason he's called God Howard.
Leather jacket and laser beam eyes. That's all I'm saying. So
There we go.
we should
I
move to our
still believe-
closings and get to our outro, if you will, and kind of roll around the horn here. So that was all the week's news. I should ask first, did you guys have anything off the radar that maybe I missed? Or
No, I don't think so.
Can
not
I
from
just
me.
take another shot at Ace?
yes.
I had to do this because you just know he's a troll. So I went and looked, and all his last comments before that one are on the PSVR subreddit. And at least our CEO isn't nicknamed Lion Jim Ryan.
Yeah.
Sorry.
Wow.
Okay.
We have
I
gone
mean,
Just
truly
trash
off the
talk. It's all
rails.
fun, guys. It's all fun.
It is.
You know,
all fun.
With all the nicknames that Jim Ryan has, it reminds me of like Ric Flair, where he's like jet flying, suit wearing, we got like Jim crying, dance moves, Ryan, slide, all this stuff, pepper grinding, whatever you want to say his name is. But
I'm a sucker for pro wrestling. I think it's the funniest and some of the most entertaining stuff out there. I haven't watched it seriously in years, but I will still, if I'm rolling through like channels like old school, I'll still stop and watch like 10-15 minutes of it because I just I just love that stuff, man. It's so funny. The Ric Flair reference is perfect. So
yeah,
we should mention on the note of wrestling that WWE 2K23 comes out on Tuesday of this week. So I heard good things about it if you're a wrestling fan.
I may pick it up. The last one, I was very skeptical. After 2020, I was like, you know what? The 2K21, nope, never going to pick up again. But then like I heard really great things about the 22 last year's the 2020. I can't even say it.
It's
2022
fine.
was actually pretty amazing, and I had a ton of fun with it. I actually loved it. I think Ukes took back over the development of it, if I'm right.
Maybe.
Long storied development house in wrestling games. I think they
Yeah,
even way back when Fire Pro Wrestling was a thing. Like I think they had their hands in that. So
yeah,
good
it
sign.
plays amazing. So if they're doing 2023, I'll probably end up buying it.
You
Awesome.
know what's really weird to me? As a kid, I used to play on 64 and play WCW, NWO,
Oh,
Revenge, and
So
I also
good.
play
the golden era.
and
No Mercy.
I remember playing, but my main character was Rey Mysterio,
Yeah,
and he still wrestles.
he does.
Yeah,
He's still out there,
No,
man. Because when you
that's
read
like
that
his
his
son's
son,
mask,
isn't
wrestling now. Yeah, his son's wrestling too,
Mhm.
Dominic.
Right. And every time I see the number 619, I just automatically scream out, drop a dime. So
There was a golden era of wrestling there where WCW was challenging the WWE, and those games were so fantastic. NWO Revenge, N64, man, like 30-minute
Yeah,
matches, just grinding it out with your buddies. It might be tag team or just such a fantastic, some of the best fighting games ever.
No
Just,
Mercy, WrestleMania 2000.
yeah.
It was all of them.
Up there with Street Fighter 2. I don't care what anyone says, those mechanics were fantastic. It was so much fun. It's a fighting game. Don't laugh, Anthony.
No, it's because I had it on the SNES, and well, we used to play in the house, like, and it's just they were just hilarious. It was like it's so like belly laughing to like sort of wrestling games when you're doing like split screen or playing together.
Oh, just pulling
They're
out a
just so
chair,
funny. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
smacking your friend over the head with it.
I haven't played one for a long time though.
I
Long
don't know what the
time.
told you
move was,
guys.
but I remember spinning those analog controllers on the N64. I probably went through
Yeah.
10 controllers thanks to those games.
I
Oh
told
yes,
you
you had to
guys
spin
about
it round and round, didn't you? To make
Yes.
yes, of course.
I told you guys
Amazing.
about the ruler of the universe match, right?
Yes.
Oh
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
Recap real
Which
quick
ended up-
for anybody who isn't familiar.
Okay, so back during the Xbox 360 days, I had a couple buddies. 3 guys came over to my house, and we had a universal match, a ladder match to decide who got to rule the universe for all time. And this was a match between Jesus. We all created our own characters. Jesus was my friend Carrie. Buddha was my friend Taylor. Carlos was Satan, and I made the Incredible Hulk. I decided to go anti-religion, but the Incredible Hulk to this day rules the universe. So,
As he should.
um, God, wrestling games are just so much fun.
When done right, they
Yeah.
really are. And I think part of
Yeah.
the draw to those games, like I said, was the match time. Like when you play Street Fighter 2, man, it's 90 seconds and there's a health gauge. Like I like the mysteriousness of a wrestling game where there was no health gauge. You're like,
Yeah.
man,
Just
my guy's been taking
relentlessly
a lot of
pounding.
punches.
Just relentlessly pounding like
Right. Like, man,
your
I've eaten
friend.
like 13 chair slaps this round. Is this the time they pin me? And you're just sitting there slamming those buttons, man. You're trying to get up, and what a great experience. So,
What's the state of wrestling games today? You know, I've not played for years and years.
Kevin's gonna let us know next week when he
Like-
buys WWE too.
But I
Yeah,
mean,
the
more-
2022 was super fun. I will say that they took over it. It wasn't a bug-filled mess like the 2020 was. It was
Right.
just the storylines were good. The Rey Mysterio storyline thing that they had, that special mode for it, was pretty awesome. Like where it kind of goes and he's talking about his career, and you play key matchups like when he first fought Eddie Guerrero and stuff like that. It was really cool moments, and yeah, I'm excited for this one to see what they do with it because the 2022 one was pretty great.
2020 was so bad that they
It was
skipped
so bad.
21.
Like people were hurt by it. They didn't come
That's
back
how-
for a few years. They've been waiting for
What-
somebody else to be like, it's safe to come in. It's okay.
It's what
Yeah.
Madden should do, but they make too much money.
That's true.
God, Madden's so bad. Well, the AI is.
We will all mourn the 2K series just for the competition that it provided. It's great when you have two franchises pushing each other. It's an amazing concept. Unfortunately, it doesn't happen very often in the sports world because of licensing. Ooh.
And
Mhm.
now that 2K has taken over the NBA market and NBA Live doesn't exist anymore, 2K23 and 22 are just gambling machines. So
Yeah, same.
sorry,
Yeah.
we could rant forever.
We really could. Sports
Totally
games.
off topic.
Well, you know what? The thing with sports games is a lot of people, that was their first love in video games. And a lot of people, that's still all they play. So it's really, it's frustrating to see them in the state that most of them are in, it kind of hurts me. But so, did we want to end it there, or did you guys? Let's do closing comments. I think, right?
Yeah, I think we've gone on long enough. People are probably. I know Moko's probably almost tired.
Yeah.
He's
For the
No, it's
record,
early.
we
It's
targeted
early for me.
we targeted 60
It's,
minutes tonight, and we're at an hour 45.
it's early for me. It's 10 past midnight.
Oh, Moko didn't
Your-
time
your-
travel
your-
with us.
Your clocks going forward has really helped me out.
That's when do you guys do a time change in the UK?
March 26th, I believe.
Oh, so we have like what, 2 weeks?
I have 2 weeks of good early times.
All right, good deal.
Yeah. I think this is it for California. I think we voted it out, so
Nice.
I think this is the last time change for us.
It's.
I love that you voted it out. Like you're just completely separate from the rest of the country. That's
Well, I
it's
mean,
incredible.
there's
the US
certain
is weird.
Arizona
states.
is.
Yeah, Arizona doesn't do it. I think there's another state that doesn't do it as well.
It's catching on. The thing is, it's been brought up federally here at the national government level, and the thing that they can't figure out is if they which time they want to keep.
Yeah,
They
Are you
can't
gonna
figure
stay
out
ahead
if
or
they
you gonna
want
stay
to
behind?
keep it switched ahead or if they want to fall back.
Yeah.
It's not that they disagree that they hate it. It's just that they can't. They don't know which way they want to go.
Whatever makes it lighter outside. for nighttime.
later or earlier though.
Whatever's lighter. So if it's like 7 p.m. and it's completely dark,
Yep.
but if it's the other way where it's 7 p.m. and it's light still, I'd rather have that.
Okay, there you go.
You get
Because
more light.
the counter to that is the people that like it lighter in the morning. They're like, hey, my kids are getting off to school and they're waiting for a bus at 7 a.m. and they're getting run over by cars, kind of thing.
Which is the original reason was to help
Oh, that's
farmers.
That it was to help farmers, yes, to give them more daylight to work. So, in the end, we all can agree that we hate it. I've been off today. I'm taking sleeping pills right after this show and hoping for the best for this week, man.
Yeah,
I just
I was
slept
drinking
in, I was
coffee
fine.
already. But
Yes,
yeah, closing comments.
yeah,
You want to start off, Jay?
yeah. Play Wolong.
Okay.
I'm taking Mikey's
No
comment
chance.
because I think he's got me. I'm downloading it, and we'll see what happens, Mikey. I can't guarantee anything.
The first, if you get frustrated, just watch a guide
I will.
and then
I will get
switch your
frustrated.
game style to that.
Okay,
Because
I
I bet you don't fight them how you should.
right.
I
have
very
a-
punishing.
I have a daughter in the house who has beaten Elden Ring completely through it, so this might be a time where Dad comes for some help. And
If she can beat it for you, I'll carry you in co-op. I swear, I
she
swear on
can
everything.
probably give me some coaching, and she'll probably fall for it because she doesn't think she likes those games, but she does every time she gets hooked. So I'll update you next week or in Discord if I want to co-op.
Okay.
Mikey, going right back to you. What are you doing this week?
I will finish a few more Battlefields. But I'm gonna try to go back and finish, wipe up the base game of Witcher, and then complete State of Decay 2. I have a few days left of game time to go on that. But if I can beat that game, that will be my shining gem, I think, this year because I already have 8 days. It's going to be my longest played game this year if it's not Flight Sim. We'll find out which it is.
Well,
is-
those are two different experiences, man.
Yep, I've got to go through and beat the game 3 more times, maybe 4, and then wipe up the Daybreak achievements, which is a zombie survival mode. I've got to beat it basically another 30 times.
Jeez.
Oh, he says.
I know. Yeah.
I mean, I know, but it's such a satisfying feeling to check those boxes.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah,
Clear the
that'll be my
backlogs.
most satisfying win. So I'm going to work on that. Finish up Witcher, which is I'm actually playing on PC with mods installed, and then I switched the save over to get the achievement on Xbox, and I love cross save. Love it so much. Because I just make my game prettier on PC. And I just love the ability to mod. So that's been a great feature. So I'm going to do that to get my achievements in Witcher, or just play it on the Xbox, maybe just on the couch, because I played half of my playthrough on that. So those are the 2 games I'm going to focus on. But when I come back and tell you next week that I played The Outer Worlds and I grinded through it again, anyways, regardless of performance issues, I'm sorry. We'll find out what I actually do.
If anybody on the you on this panel, you are the absolute gaming masochist. I've seen you polish through or plow through, I should say, things that would have me pulling my hair out. So I'm not going to be surprised by anything that you do. I was surprised to hear that you that some of the games you're playing this week. So that's interesting. That's a good mix.
Yeah,
Kevin?
thank you.
Yeah.
Probably finishing up. I'm on level 70. It's double XP weekend for Overwatch 2, so I'm gonna try and get to
Oh,
70, and then I just got 10 more to go to finish the battle
wait.
pass. And
Wait. It was double XP weekend.
yep,
Oh, I
double
missed
XP
out.
weekend.
So,
Yeah, I jumped like 20 levels so far. But yeah, I'll probably finish up the battle pass hopefully this week. Probably start more work on Halo 3 season 3. It's been absolutely fun. I mean, but I've always loved Halo, so I think they've made some very meaningful improvements that some quality of life improvements for the game that makes me excited for where it's heading. And then I think I started Hi-Fi Rush. I'm still trying to get used to it, even though like I'm a drummer, somehow I'm still off beat. I don't know. So I'm trying to
oh
get
man,
into that,
have you checked your
but it's a
setup?
fun game.
You're a
Check.
techie guy, so I'm pretty sure you're good. Right?
Yeah.
You don't have any kind of lag or input delay somewhere, or the TV
Mm,
or display, or
I turned off low latency and that seems to have helped a
okay.
bit, but I'll probably figure it out. But that's pretty fun. Um, yeah, that's pretty much it for me. Just pretty simple, same stuff over again. I don't know if I'll branch out to a new game like Wo Long, but um, yeah, maybe 2023 WWE.
Yeah,
Are you
it's
playing?
amazing. Go ahead.
Are you playing Hi-Fi Rush on PC or Xbox?
Xbox.
So I recommend PC only because I had similar issues on Xbox where I was getting 60% rhythm times, and on PC
Yeah.
I was getting 92 to 100.
Okay. I'll probably
So
switch over then.
I don't know what it is, and I hate to say it, but it just the rhythm is better on PC.
Okay.
I think
I'll probably end up doing that.
yeah. When you get into televisions and displays, and I know a lot of them have game mode and low latency mode and all that, but I think a PC is always going to be superior for some reason. It's just more direct input usually, and less bottlenecks, if you will. So, well, you know what? I don't know. We have Valheim coming out on the 14th. I've never played it. I know that Mikey has a little experience with it. 30-second review, Mikey. Can you give me one?
One of the best survival games I've ever played.
Wow.
There you go.
That's
There
a
you
Bang.
go.
5-second review. This was a buzz game a few years ago when it came out. Definitely, there's tons of content out there on YouTube if you're interested in it. It's a big score for Xbox, and I'm kind of excited to try it out. I love survival games, I really do. This week you'll also be able to play Civilization 6 on Game Pass. I own this game. I'm terrified of it for different reasons than Wo Long. I'm scared that if I play it, I won't play anything else for the next 3 months. Anybody that's a Civilization fan knows how those games go. One more turn, just one more turn, and it's 4 a.m. in the morning. Um, we have an AMA coming up on the 14th as well, which is Tuesday, featuring The Wreck. That's a game that we'll be releasing this week. If you want to find out more about it, come on by. It'll be Tuesday morning, I believe, Eastern time. And you can ask questions of the developer. I'm excited to find out a little more about that. And out of all that stuff, what will I be playing? Well, I'm going to play Anno 1800. I think the free week on that is interesting. I love their confidence in the game to release it in that style. I think more developers might look into this. I think it's genius marketing. You're going to really boost that early player count. Just because, hey, it's free, why not check it out, right? And then the next week you can be like, boy, we had 18, whatever the number is, players check out our game in the first week. And I think it might create a lot of sell-throughs too. So we'll see how that goes for them. I'm going to try out Wo Long. I promise. I'm laying it down right now. If I come back next week, you can delete me from the podcast if I haven't played it. Other than that, I'm still going to be working on Darkest Dungeon and some of the other games I've been grinding on. So that's it for me for the week. I did want to take just a moment and just give a thanks to the people that have joined us as we've hosted it here on the Reddit Talk client. This show is going to keep going. We were a little disappointed with some of the developments that we discussed at the beginning of the show, but like Nate, Play Beyond, the people that we see in the audience every week, we really appreciate you guys joining us and making this kind of a fun thing for us to keep coming back to. And we're gonna keep doing it, man. This is fun for me every week, and I think it's fun for you guys up here too, just to kind of recap the news and talk about our favorite hobbies. So
Agreed.
that's it for me.
Cool.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. Yeah, we do appreciate all of you guys here. Um, sorry, I was reading some of the
No, that's it.
comments
We
there.
all
I
just fell
probably missed
asleep right after
anything out.
that.
I'm downloading
But
games
yeah,
to play after the cast, so
yeah, we do appreciate you guys joining us. Like I said, this isn't the end of Xbox Talks, even though Reddit Talks is going away. We will see you guys
Ooh.
on YouTube. Definitely, but we do appreciate all the support you've given us this last year and a half now. The program's been going out, so
Yeah, a long
much
time
love to
now.
you guys. Yeah,
Absolutely. And
much
those of you
love.
that are subscribed through Spotify or Apple or anywhere else, the show's going to show up just as normal to you. You won't notice any change. This is just going to be for our live recordings are just going to be a little bit different moving forward, which is fine. Change is good. It actually makes some things a little easier for us. So we're excited for the year to come. It's going to be such a good year for Xbox. I can't wait. We didn't even mention Diablo. That's out next week. I'll have beta impressions for you because I will be playing on Thursday. I will be live streaming with my daughter on Thursday. We're going crazy with this. So full on Diablo week next week. And that's really it for me. Dang it. I'm shutting up now.
All right, guys. Thanks for everyone joining. Happy gaming.
Happy gaming.
Catch you later. Bye-bye.
adios.